fancy bumping into you here. Out to find some answers about your past, are we?
You've quite the familiar face, and using the same powers. But you'll have to forgive me. Do we know each other?
Same powers? Don't make me laugh. Your little dip in that lake has left you a bit rusty.
I've been high and dry for 20 years now. The only rust on me is from the lack of any real challenge. Perhaps you're up for the task.
You've already disappointed me. This is a moment I've long desired. But you've forgotten your destiny and wasted the past 20 years.
You're right. I do seem to be having trouble remembering things of late. Would you be so kind as to take it from the top?
2 overseers, the eyes of the world. They are the power behind everything.
John, as heir to the clan, the time has come for you to prove your right to fight under the Umbran name. You may select opponents of your choice.
Then allow me to face the outcast.
None! Helen Kiadagat! The child is of impure blood. Challenging her would be a violation of our tenets of faith.
It would not be the first time we faced each other.
Kiard?
Will you face me in this hallowed arena?
Well, if I must. But I pray you've got a little something for me in return. You know, I'm very fond of stuffed animals.
Hello everybody, Bayonetta here, and welcome back to yet another part of Let's Play Bayonetta. And I'm actually going to start this part in a little different way. I'll start with a teeny bit of trivia about the game itself. So, as you've probably no doubt seen, some of the cutscenes in this game are animated. Some of them aren't animated, and they just have that bizarre little film strip sort of motif to them. Or that's probably not the correct word. But either way, they look like film strip. It's actually kind of cool. The main reason that those are set up like that is because when this game was initially released, in order to animate all the cutscenes, it would have taken the developers way too much time, and they would have never made the deadline. So to shorten things up a bit, they edited the cutscenes and they set them up like that. I apologize for that long, awkward pause in my audio. My brain just kind of went dead on me for that, mostly because I thought that the cutscene was going to come up sooner than that. Anyway, this is a broken witch heart. Once you collect 4, no, it's a completed witch heart, excuse me. Once you collect 4 broken witch hearts, it completes the 4th one, just as if it was like The Legend of Zelda. And here, you can see this enemy. These are the deer and decoration enemies. These things are not too obnoxious, but like a few of the angels in this game, actually quite a lot of them, they start off with an attack and whenever they're introduced, so you want to just dodge just like that. I find the best way to defeat them is just get upright and just start kicking and punching and doing everything you normally do to the enemies. There are some weapons and whatnot that we don't have that we'll get later down the road that work much better for this, but since we're limited to what we have, we just gotta keep on kicking, keep on using. And I forgot that I had the Onyx Rose equipped. Let me change that really quick. That's not the right button. Because whenever I've been doing my test playthroughs, I've just been running through with Scarborough Fair on both my hands and my feet, because that just works the best for me. It's what's most natural. I spent a lot of time when I was playing on, because the first time I ever had this game, I got it on the Xbox version. So I would always use the Scarborough Fair, especially when trying to go for those platinum runs, which I still have yet to completely accomplish. It's been a little too long, and I'm only a couple chapters shy of actually getting it. So who knows, maybe I'll get it some point in the future, maybe I won't, I don't know. I also can't remember at all if I said I was going to collect these crows or not in my first go, but either way, that's where one of the crows are, and I just collected it on pure reflex and accident alone. So I guess from this point forward, I might as well take the time to collect the rest of them. I don't know. I don't really like all the crows. There's too many of them, which is why I'm thankful that in the second game, they diminished the number of crows significantly, being, I think there's only a total of 20 crows to collect. Anyway, we're coming up shortly on a cutscene, but first there's a treasure chest over here, and if I remember correctly, it contains a stupid bullet. And then over here we have another journal that you can collect. Boom. And after all this senseless destruction, we go up here.
Do you believe in fate? Fate brought us here together, and it will never tear us apart. Sayonara. Fleur de ciré, eau de parfum. Such a wonderful floral bouquet. With its subtle hints of rosemary. You know, in the language of flowers, rosemary equates to remembrance. Which doesn't quite equate to you, now does it? Bayonetta! Shit! Will you stop that?
That little bug on Enzo was a nice touch. Seeing you here, I suppose it wasn't the only one. You've certainly bloomed, haven't you, my little Cheshire puss?
I'm not your pet. The name is Luca. A name you better remember. Ah! can't just run away from me like that! I know what I saw that day! I know all about your kind. Sure, my colleagues laugh at me for chasing fairy tales, amongst other things. But I know they're real. I know the truth. The smell. It's the same smell that clung to the air the day my father was murdered. Which means I'm right on your doorstep, Bayonetta.
I'll let you in on a little secret, Cheshire.
The name is Luke.
You need to hone your sense of smell, my dear.
There's no rosemary in the perfume. After all, rosemary is a demon repellent.
This game, it gives me such nostalgic feelings. Mostly, wow, I totally oblivious to that. When I actually, the first time I ever got this game and owned it, the first time I played it was through the demo that was released whenever. I don't even really know when this game was released. But when I initially got this game, I got it on the Xbox, and I got it as a Christmas gift. So, pretty much any time that I play it, assuming I haven't been on just a giant binge playing it for who knows how long, I get these weird feelings of Christmas nostalgia, and it's fantastic, and it's even better because, well, Christmas is just around the corner, so, hey, get the good times rolling and whatnot. One of the things, one of the goals that I had for this segment that I'm recording right now is I was going to try to slow myself down and essentially keep a level head and just overall keep myself don't distract myself too much and then let all my thoughts run on. Because one thing that I was worried about when I initially began the whole Let's Play thing was that I was never going to have anything to talk about and that I would just have a bunch of dead air. Well, it turns out that that's quite the opposite, and there's a lot of things that I tend to think and want to say, but my mind ends up rambling, so I jump from one thing to the next. I get distracted. My gameplay doesn't really suffer, as you can clearly see, but my brain just gets scrambled and my word gets scrambled, and it doesn't so much affect the gameplay, whereas it affects
You only run away so fast because you've got something to run from. Me! But you can't escape me forever.
it doesn't affect the gameplay so much, whereas it affects my overall commentary, and that is essentially the huge point of the Let's Play, at least from what I've always assumed, is, you know, people come here to see the game, but they also come here to watch the commentary. Now, I don't really believe my commentary is all too riveting. That's mostly because I was never great at talking to myself, basically. And all these cars, you can lift them, and then you can throw them. They do damage. I hardly ever use them. And that's exactly what I mean by I get distracted and everything goes on and on. And I'm trying to just make the best experience possible for anyone who's watching, I actually went through and I watched and rewatched the the second part that I put on her. It was the third part. No, it was the second part. That's right. And there was actually someone who made a comment, which means that's at least one person who watched my videos, and so I was like, oh, you know, with that, all that stuff, that means if one person watches, that means anyone can watch, and it's not completely, you know, just that these videos are going to go entirely unnoticed, which was another thing that kind of dissuaded me. Is that even a word? It kind of dissuaded me from going through and actually performing on this with a Let's Play of any variety, because, well, it was kind of a, if it's going to go unnoticed, why bother deal. But then I also just had a thought and realized that my score really suffered. Okay, if you want to platinum to what I just did, it's not worth it. But, you know, if one person can watch that, if one person watched, that means who knows how many people can end up watching in the future, probably several years from now. I've got a friend who has several videos up on his YouTube channel, and I don't know how many viewers and subscribers he has, but I know he doesn't have too many subscribers, but he just keeps pumping out videos and making it and living his dream. His channel is Shadowmaster DX. He does all sorts of Pokemon stuff. I think right now he's in the middle of some Nuzlocke randomizer deal, but I am a pretty much Pokemon novice. I don't know what any of this stuff is. So, you want to do that, again, the channel name is Shadowmaster EX. I highly recommend you give it a shot. His commentary is pretty riveting, and he's just overall a little more experienced, and a really good guy. I mean, he's actually my roommate, because I'm in college now. I'm a freshman in college. I haven't been there too long. It's been an interesting experience overall. I don't know if I mentioned it in another video or not, but I'm actually in college for film, because that's pretty much what I want to do with my life once I get out, once I get into the world. I want film. I want to do film. I want to be the guy who makes all the nice movies and whatnot. I'm a really huge fan of the editing scene. That's why I have zero problem with all these longer segments and whatnot, because editing just isn't a big deal to me. It's what I want to do, honestly. I get enjoyment out of sitting down on my editing software and making things look beautiful, or adding an effect here, doing color correction, which for the longest of the time I was not actually able to do very well because I'm colorblind. And when you're colorblind, you have a hard time, seeing certain colors, and I mix up a lot of colors. One of the big issues I had is I would always mix up my blues and purples, and I kind of need my blues and purples and whatnot in order to effectively color correct and whatnot. But through the college, I actually have learned of a way that will allow me to do proper color correction despite my color blind, because all I have to do at that point is just match certain things up, and it's really helped a lot. It's going to greatly increase the quality of any videos that I create, and it's overall it's just going to make my editing experience that much better, and that was a failure. That was my bad. I don't usually fail on these ones. These challenges are pretty easy. There's one challenge coming up that I failed quite often in the test Let's Play, so be ready for that. It's one of the more annoying ones. You have to use an X amount of torture attacks. However, not only is there a time limit for those, but there is also a limited amount of enemies. So not only do you have to use a torture or set amount of torture attacks, but you have to do it without killing all the enemies first, and that can be a real problem. fact, whenever I get there, I can actually almost just outright say, yep, I failed this already. And that's kind of annoying when it happens like that. That's not always true. Sometimes I don't end up failing in those situations, but for the most part, it's usually a pretty decent failure. But hey, you never know. Hopefully, I'll get it on my first try. If this is an indication of anything, that's not going to happen too well. But you never know. I never know. I've had some really good runs, and I've had some really bad runs with all of my several hours logged into this game and all the ones I'm going to get. Because what I do beforehand, before I even think about sitting down and recording the next segment, is I play the chapter that I'm going to do for the segment basically on repeat over and over and over again. So that way I can make sure I'm not missing anything important. I get all the goodies, all the heart pieces, all the broken moon pearls, just anything collectible-wise that I can get. I mean, with the exception thereof of the crows, like I said, I will probably, if I even decide to show them all off, because there's one thing that I'm going to show off definitely in an extras video to make the whole crow thing completely negligible and quite honestly very, very pointless. So, and that's basically because this is one of the few games out there that has cheats in it. And a lot of you are probably thinking, oh, you know, cheats, it's not a legitimate way to play the game. Well, when you have an obnoxious amount of stuff to get before you can unlock some pretty cool stuff, cheats are alright, you know? It's a single-player game, so it's not like you're ruining other players' experiences by using these cheat codes. And even then, if you want to do it legitimately, it's as simple as save your file onto another save and keep moving on. But there are cheat codes, and they can only actually be input in this chapter. I should have shown them off. No, I'll save it for an extras video, especially because I don't have enough halos, and all the cheats require a pretty absurd amount of halos, of which there are a couple spots that I like to grind for halos, and I can probably demonstrate that later on in either way. But there are